The Democrats are starting to sound more like shock jocks than serious lawmakers as the loudest voices in the room step into the leadership void. Rising star Jasmine Crockett is the MVP of attention seeking, and she's defending the need for illegal immigrants with this shocking take.
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now. Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands. You're not. We done picking cotton. We are. You can't pay us enough to find a plantation.
Democrats can showboat all they want, but at the end of the day, they are lacking that authenticity that makes President Trump a hit with the voters. Even Bill Maher gets it.
Trump really interesting is one of the most effective politicians, whatever you think of the policy and him as a person. Always lean in to being more who you are. The people are not savvy about issues, but they smell a phony a mile away. Democrats have to come up with an alpha, and it's not Tim Walz.
Okay, Greg, why is it that only Maher sees that there's no masculinity in the Democrat Party and the rest of them can't see it?
I thought Jasmine was pretty masculine there. I think authenticity is, I guess, linked to action. Like you get to know somebody by what they do. And I think right now the Democrats are a collection of lightweights. Theater kids who, instead of actually going to class, focus on the external appeal of identity politics. She's changed based on identity politics. It's never what I do, it's who I am. So this new guy comes in, Trump, and he does stuff, who acts instead of, acts. So by comparison, you can kind of see their grift. They seem very silly, and having an allied media that enables you, it doesn't help, because like when Harold comes to the 5, it's like he comes to the gym. His ideas, he has to work out his ideas because there's opposition. But for most Democrats, all Democrats outside of Fox, they don't have that gym. They don't go out and work out. So you have Jasmine there, basically using the same justification for illegal immigration that you would for slavery. It's just a few iterations in between. It's also the driving force for a lot of globalism. I really love my iPhone and my Nike shoes as long as I don't see the ages and the condition of the people making it.
Okay, Jesse, what do you think of the idea that we need illegals because the blacks aren't picking cotton anymore?
Well, I don't like that idea, Judge, and I think it's pretty racist. But whether it's guest right, of course, whether it's a guest worker program, whether it's people that come here seasonally. I guess some jobs in agricultural, you have to have the people south of the border do it. But that's not really the issue. That's not the jobs they're taking. They're taking actually good blue-collar jobs all over the country. Look at the south side of Chicago. They didn't want them there, and it's driving down wages, and she should know better. But Greg hits on a key point in his kind of roundabout way.
True.
Authenticity is obvious on the right because we do the work. We will sit for an hour or 3 on a podcast and let it rip. You can't hide on a 3-hour podcast. You can hide if you're a Democrat in the press because they'll just baby you and they won't ask you anything and they won't even debate you. But it is primal. You can smell the authenticity. You can smell the masculinity.
Yes.
Is it deodorant? Is it musk?
I had beans.
Is it some sort of cologne that Harold has on today? I don't
wear
know.
cologne. I want the record to reflect. I don't wear cologne.
It's just the natural musk of Harold Ford.
Stephen A. has it. Stephen A. goes live and no holds barred. And that's why he's rising. That's why Maher, as wimpy as he is, gets it. He'll smoke and he'll drink and he'll let it go, but he understands the formula. And the formula now in new media, direct to consumer. You get real politicians that tweet, they talk, and they podcast, and you can either know they're legit or not. Right now, the Democrats aren't legit, and everybody knows it.
You know, Harold, Stephen A. says that he has no interest in running, but he's going to keep the door open just in case no one shows up. What do you think of Stephen A. as a candidate?
Look, I think any and everybody should run. I say that ideas at the end of the day have to be what inform and what influence and what stimulate a campaign. I've tried to say for the life of me, I don't understand why these members of Congress and the Senate who are really specializing in the energy stimulation space, but aren't yet in the idea space. We've talked about on the show, I don't understand why we're not out saying we want to build 20 million new homes for Americans who, as we see aging homes and people moving into the workforce. We want a 5% cut in every agency across the country in the federal government. We want to scale what's working, reform what can be reformed, and scrap what's not. Take taxes off the first $50,000 of earnings on the payroll tax and up the payroll tax to $500,000 to pay for it. We now scrap it out at about $200,000. Make wealthier people pay a little bit more and let those working people, like the president wants to do, on no taxes. He is giving us an opening because he is so preoccupied with what I think is an ineffective way to bring business and jobs back to our country with his tariff plan. Let's get focused on issues. I don't need a history lesson on slavery. What I do need is to tell me how we're going to inform people, educate people, and make people's lives better by helping them make more money.
So you're going to endorse Stephen A.?
I like Steve. I like First Take. I love to hear his plan. If he likes these kinds of things, I think he'd have a better chance of being a politician.
All right, Dana, you know, the talk of Michelle Obama entering the presidential race was something where everybody said, whoa, in 2024. But she can't even keep a podcast going.
This was Jesse's favorite topic, and I think you still owe me something for that. I'm pretty sure.
I don't remember
I think we bet 100 times. I didn't even know Michelle Obama had a brother. And now she's doing a podcast with her brother, and it's not getting anywhere. I mean, honestly, is she looking for something to do? Here's the way that she could get attention. I came up with this morning on
Don't
Newsroom.
say marry
I've been
him,
thinking about it all day. No, that only works for a certain congresswoman. Remember Michelle Obama had the hashtag Bring Back Our Girls?
Yeah.
Right? When those girls were kidnapped in Nigeria. And she was right to care. If she cared about America's girls and women's sports and was willing to say something, she would be a hero.
Boom. Take that, Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
No,
Dana,
take the idea and run with it.
you in
Do
the
it.
face.
No. She should do it. We want her to do that.
But
if you care about girls' sports and
it's
women's
almost
sports,
too
you
late.
should do it.
It's too late. She missed the boat.
Yeah, I agree. It is too late.
It would
But
have
you
been
know
nice.
what?
You're absolutely right. It would have been nice.
She can still do it.
It's
never
too late
to
for
have people-
everything
But I
because she
feel
was
like-
so hot a year ago.
But somebody on the Democratic side at a high level needs to come out and say, and that can't just be a congressman from Massachusetts. It has to be somebody at a high level who says, we got this wrong. Should be Kamala Harris. You want a future? You do it. But somebody on that side needs to do something because these girls should not have to basically get to a final in a competition and have to take a knee because they're going to lose to a guy.
Definitely. And up next, liberals are trying to cancel John Stamos for going to Mar-a-Lago.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.